Hey book readers, Aristophanes here. Unleash this book reviews, off-the-cuff book reviews. Haven't eaten breakfast this morning, been writing articles on books and stuff like that. By the way, if you're interested in reading some of my written reviews of a lot of the books that I cover on these videos, search my name, Dean Goronitis, and search Tonawanda News. It's the local city that I'm from, and I write book reviews for them too. So, probably throw a link for that. Anyways, I'm here giving you a book review today on Lysistrata by Aristophanes. And if you hear my dog flapping her ears around a lot, it seems like she's having a little bit of a problem with ear cleanliness or something. I got her some ear drops, but lately she's been going blah, 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 so maybe you'll hear that. Anyways, Lysistrata. Book written, I think it was like published actually like 411 BC. That's 411 years before Christ. And it's not actually a book, it's a play. And it actually wasn't published then, it was performed then. But that's the basic idea, that's when it came out. And it details the story of Lysistrata, who I'm probably pronouncing wrong because I always pronounce my main characters wrong. And she is a woman who, during the Peloponnesian War, which is the big war that was going on right at that time when this play was released between Athens and Sparta, Lysistrata comes up with an idea to end the warfare because she's tired of it. She's tired of her husband never being home. She's tired of seeing all these women who are getting too old to have children waiting to see their husbands and hoping that they'll be home in time, that they'll be able to have children. And she's tired, obviously, of all the death and bloodshed, and she wants to see a change. So she brings women from all the warring nations together, and she holds a conference. And at the conference, the women decide that in order to stop the war, they will withhold sex from all of their male partners. Now, of course, there's plenty of women who have trouble with this because withholding sex doesn't only hurt guys, it also hurts girls, at least girls that have the sexual drive, and most girls have a sexual drive just as strong as guys. So this is a really big sacrifice for the women to take. But you know, after a lot of persuasion from Lysistrata and a couple of her friends, the women agree that this is something that they're going to do. And they lock themselves up in the Acropolis and tell the men that they will not get any until the war is over. And that's what the story's about. Now, you know, this was 2,400 years ago, and today it still resonates. Now, come on. I mean, Shakespeare is considered by a lot of people to be, you know, the main contributor in stories, period. Like, the majority of stories you read in here today have some sort of background, some roots going back to Shakespeare. But Shakespeare was way after this stuff here. Lysistrata, I mean, you're talking a long time ago, going after ideas that are still prevalent today. Some people would say this book is a feminist book. Some people would argue that it has... Shannon, go. Wow. Some people would argue that it really had nothing to do with feminism, and in fact there's a lot of stereotypical descriptions of women in the story that kind of point to Aristophanes not really caring a whole lot about women's rights so much as trying to come up with a creative, intelligent solution to a war that pretty much everybody at the time saw no ending to other than a really bloody, horrific one where nobody really won. Lysistrata clocks in at like a measly 100 pages, as a lot of plays do, and that's why I like to look at plays a lot of times when I'm trying to take a break between a few huge literary works. The nice thing here is you're reading something that has, for seriously almost forever, been considered really important. So not only are you know, reading something relatively light, but you're reading something that is good to have a knowledge of. The other cool thing here is that Shakespeare, you know, is written in that old English style, and let's be honest, it's hard to get through. Unless you've read a lot of Shakespeare and over time have gotten used to that style of English, it can be hard to push through. Now, of course, we could give it a modern translation, and SparkNotes likes to do that for us with their No Fear Shakespeare. Has one translation on one side and the original on the other, and I'm all for that for understanding. But, you know, honestly, if a book of Shakespeare was just a modern translation, that would be kind of offensive, right? You know, you'd want the real thing. You'd feel like you're kind of cheaping, that's not a word, yourself out of the real stuff. But with Lysistrata, it was a Greek play, which means that it had to be translated. And because it had to be translated into English, what we find is a translation in most publications that's pretty easy to understand. Now, there's a lot of references to culture at the time back then, individual characters, people, not characters, whatever, from that time period that were real, that, you know, people watching the play at that point would have laughed at, and maybe for us it goes over our heads. So there's footnotes and endnotes to explain that stuff for you. Or if you're like me and you don't really care, and what you really want to see is how the piece holds up in today's world, in today's times, and how it relates to you without scholars telling you how it should relate to you, then read it without those things, and it still hits home. It's still a great read. It's awesome. And it's funny. Check it out if you're interested. Alright? On tap, I have Ernest Hemingway, and I cannot remember the title off the top of my head, but that was the contest winner, Down to the Ark, his choice. So I have to find a copy of that from the library/bookstore, which I'm planning on doing today or tomorrow. I'm also about a quarter of the way through The Sound and the Fury, and I've also been told that I'm getting a copy of Watchmen mailed to me, which I've read in the past but lost my copy, and if that comes, I plan on reading that and giving you guys my thoughts on that too. Okay? 3 stories ready to go at some point. Thanks for tuning in, thanks for watching as always, and thanks to the subscribers especially. You guys mean a lot. Yeah. Dean Gornitis, Unleash This Book Reviews. See ya.